Welcome back to another episode of Matchday Minds. We are back. Kieran is back. I'm back. As you can see, new layout. We've been busy over Christmas. We've been working on some hard things to make the podcast bigger and better for the new year. 2026 will be the rise of Matchday Minds. Mark my
Indeed.
words. Mark
Indeed.
my words.
New
Who's Mark?
year.
And why is he marking my words?
Exactly. Mark Goldbridge? Nah. Don't want
In the
that
bin.
bum in here. Get him
Get him out.
out.
But yeah, we've been off. We went off for a week, so we thought we could just chill for Christmas. But how was your Christmas?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Um, I mean, I say that, but I was quite badly sick over the Christmas period, and yeah, it was not the best, if I'm honest. But I heard you had a lot better, a better time than I did.
No, who told you that?
Who told me that? Anyone? Because I was ill, horribly ill,
Yeah, I was.
violently ill.
I've avoided pretty much all illnesses. Knock on wood.
Mm,
But yeah,
until now.
yeah, I'm gonna get sick tomorrow.
Yeah, I was even sick for the game when I went up on last Tuesday, so the
Palace, right?
23rd, the Palace game. Yeah, I would have recorded that, but honestly,
Voice.
I had no voice. I literally just wanted to get in there, watch the game, get out. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. Well,
Again, it was a good game, of course. Obviously, news to note: Arsenal top at Christmas, Arsenal top at the New Year.
we've seen this before.
We have seen it before, but it's a new Arsenal, New Year, new Arsenal,
Arguably
and
getting
it's
worse,
nah, no, 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 not after that,
performance-wise.
not after that Villa performance.
Yeah, but the games before, a couple of games before that Villa game, stink.
I mean, we went through a little bit of a patch. It happens to all teams. I mean, you saw City at the start of this season; they went through a bit of a patch. We look at the amount of injuries we've had and the amount of different lineups we've had over the last sort of 10 games. Like our back four partnerships have completely changed over the last couple of games. I mean, you go back 2, 3 games ago, we were playing, you know, uh, Calafiori and Timber at centre back.
Yeah, but they are centre backs naturally.
Yeah, but they have never really played that position with Arsenal. But like, it just goes to show like the depth that we have. Yeah, and we have still been winning games. It's just a case of they've not been clean wins. And we've now got all of our attacking depth back. Kai Havertz is due to be back very, very soon. Well, he is already back. He was on the bench, but you know, back in starting form very, very soon. See, Victor Gyökeres is fully fit. Fair enough. He might not be firing, but I've seen that. In the last couple of performances, he's getting a lot better. And you've then got to look at Gabby Jesus again. He looks on fire. He looks so lively every time he comes on. Incredible goal against Aston Villa. Within, I think it was just under a minute he scored in. And you then also got the midfield, which is, I mean, looking to potentially get stronger. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the latest transfer reports on Arsenal's midfield prospects. So
Who's
we're
been
looking
linked?
at remembering his name is almost impossible. So yeah, Arsenal being linked with Ayoub Bouadi, who is potentially going to go for about 45 million, which
Yeah,
was rumored earlier today. He looks incredible. Obviously, very, very young, very, very raw, but could be a potential replacement for Christian Norgard, who has been a good servant so far, but obviously only making 2 Premier League appearances makes you kind of wonder how much faith that Arteta actually has in him. Not trusting him at all in the Premier League. only having to play due to injuries. I think he's played two Premier League appearances or starts, and one of which has been at centre back, which is a
So,
complete off role.
so if you're linked with an 18-year-old for 45 million,
Hmm.
um, where does that leave Waneri and Max Dalman then? Because
Well,
they're
they
young,
play
yeah,
they play very different positions.
but they're young, and you
Hmm.
had Odegaard out injured. Yeah,
Hmm.
no minutes for them, either of them. What makes you
I mean,
what makes you think Arteta's gonna play this 18-year-old?
I think the difference is obviously in that central midfield. We have a lot of options now going forward with the likes of Eze, and obviously Marino, who can play kind of like a hybrid 10-8 kind of position. So there's that, but there's not really much space out on that right wing either for Nwaneri to play if he wanted to play out of that right wing, because obviously you had like Saka and like we got so many options who could play in so many different positions. It's hard to fit in those young players. Obviously, Miles has been getting a lot of minutes, especially recently. He's been getting a lot more. But I think a defensive midfield role as like an understudy to Zubamendi is kind of needed. Obviously, we did have that in Norgard. Well, we do have that in Norgard, but I just don't think the faith from the manager is there. And honestly, this is a thing as well. If you can improve your squad while you're at the top, that's how you stay at the top. It's all right going for these players and whatever, um, when you're like fourth in the league, when you're kind of washed like Man United are at the moment. But going for these big players and going for these big talents, taking a risk on them while you've already got like a solid team, that's where that's your chance to sort of improve your team and almost not create a dynasty, but go on a bit of a run with it. We're now at a position of strength, and we need to build on that. We don't need, I expect like Andrea Berta to. I don't expect him to stand still. I expect him to push forward, try to improve the squad.
This is gonna be
And
so funny come in May.
I mean, yeah, if we end up, bottoming the league, then yeah, it would be quite funny. But I just don't think we will.
It's unfortunate because I made a tweet as well. I made a comment about this. Like this season has just been crap. Like for everyone involved, bar Sunderland, who are having an unreal season for themselves. Everyone has been so lackluster, and I'm talking about Arsenal as well. Especially like they haven't been as dominant as they were last season or season before. City definitely haven't been. Chelsea haven't been. United definitely haven't been in the last season as well. Liverpool this season just been poor. I want you to convince me why this season's been good.
I think it's good competition all round. I think it's not like it has been in previous seasons where the top teams run away with it. It's like anyone has a chance of beating anyone.
Yeah, but that's just the Premier
And
League as a whole, and that's how it's been
and
for the last couple of seasons. But I'm talking about
yeah,
team by team. They've been terrible. Like no one's been good. I don't think there's a team that's been good, bar Villa's 11-win run and like I say Sunderland. But no one's been good. Look at the New Year's Day results. 0-0s everywhere. What's going on?
but is that more, you know, teams being more equal footing? Like, it doesn't mean the competition's bad. It just means that the teams are just so good that it's struggling that we're struggling to now find um that wow factor and that thing that's going to distinguish mid-table to top end table. That's the other half of the argument.
But then does that mean the Premier League's just going to fall down in favour because you can't find an outright winner? If everyone's drawing 0-0, then less points on the table. It's going
I
to make it
mean,
harder
there
to
are
win the league.
teams. There are teams that are shining above the rest. Which you look at Arsenal, you look at City. We're two teams that are shining above the rest, and obviously Villa with their 11-game win streak. It's not impossible to do something like that, and it still keeps the competition fresh. It still keeps the competition, and if anything, it keeps the competition more fresh because you're going to have season by season, you're going to have different teams at the top.
If we look at the
I
Premier
mean,
League table now,
but like if Arsenal win it this season, in the last 3 years, we would have had three different Premier League title winners: Man
between
City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
14th and 5th, 5 points.
Yeah.
2 wins gets you Champions League football. 2 losses gets you relegation zone.
Hmm.
Like, that's not good quality. You need the separation. And like you were 10 points ahead, and now you've dropped down to 4.
Hmm.
Like, no one's just performing. Does there
I
need to be
mean,
change? Does rules need to be changed? Does there need to be
no,
a limit on anything? Well,
no.
you wouldn't say that because you're top of the table, but you haven't won it.
I mean, yeah, we're top of the table at the moment, and I don't think there needs to be any kind of change in the format of the Premier League or anything like that. I think it's fine how it is. The only thing you could argue is that the refereeing decisions need to be better in terms of consistency.
That's
But
that's that's been a talk for ages, and I don't think it will ever change, unfortunately, unless you
no,
fully remove the human element of it and just purely keep it automated.
mm,
That's the only
yeah,
time it'll probably change.
it's a very tough one to manage, um, with like how VAR intervenes. But again, for me, it's the consistency. Game by game, you can have one decision versus another, and they're going to be completely different. The outcome.
Yeah. Has there been any crazy decisions this season? I can't really think of one.
I don't think there's been any crazy decisions, but I think there's been a lot of like red cards given in certain situations, and then a similar situation happens in another game, and then a red card isn't given.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people are getting annoyed about is that certain teams are being penalized. And I don't think it's like the referees or anyone turning around and saying, this is your club or whatever, we're going to give this decision because it's because you're Liverpool or because you're Man City or because you're Arsenal or because you're Man United. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's just a case of in the moment, the referees are kind of giving a certain decision, and then VAR on the day aren't actually really referring back to a rule book
Mm.
or referring back to previous decisions. Uh, and I mean, that would be quite easy for VAR to, because they're, away from the actual game, but it'd be quite easy for VAR to look at, okay, we've had this tackle. I mean, how quickly do you, at the social media, like, the haters online, how quickly are they to post? They post within minutes. Why can't the Premier League or VAR do a similar thing in terms of, okay, this tackle has happened. This is very similar to the tackle that happened here. Okay, what did we give in that game? And then it would, I think people would start to support like PGMOL and their decision making a lot more because they're referring back to previous games.
Yeah, but
Whereas at the
the
moment,
original game could have been incorrect. That's the
yeah, no,
issue of
but
referring, though,
but
isn't it?
but that's why you set a precedent. It's the same thing in law. I mean, you look at English law. If a judge decides in a certain situation that it's deemed that X is enough to warrant, you know, guilt or whatever, or to admit guilt, then they will refer back to that in a future court case, and they'll go, okay, right. Well, it was said in this trial that this was valid enough, and this is a similar situation or identical situation, and then they use that to then refer and assist the decision making.
I just don't understand why they're not implementing more common sense into some of these.
Yeah.
Because they're just like,
Well,
yeah, it was a hard challenge. Is it warranted a yellow card? No. Do I need to give one? No.
yeah. And I mean, a lot of them are, ex-professionals. They've been around the game for all their lives, and they're just not using common knowledge. Whether it needs um, ex-professionals to sit on the PGMOL board and actually help them out with the VAR decisions, you know, I mean, that could be a next step, but
Do you think there's more bias in refereeing now, or do you think it's less?
I think it's less, definitely less. It's easier to monitor now, whereas back, you go back in the day, a ref could have just given a decision and gone, oh well.
Mm,
And the argument was that, well, I saw it as something else. Whereas now you've got the extra eyes on it, and they'll look at it and go, actually, mate, you are wrong here.
yeah,
So I think there is less biasy, and there's a lot less, paying off referees and all this sort of stuff. Because that used to happen. I mean, maybe not in the Premier League, but definitely, you know, you, you've heard all the reports about Barcelona, Real Madrid in the early 2000s paying off referees.
especially Juventus.
Yeah, Juventus as well. Yeah, I mean, it was a big scandal.
Yeah,
Whereas I don't think in today's game you really have that often.
I think it's more NBA. I think there was some weird thing about the mafia or something along those lines being involved in NBA, the
Mm,
refereeing and transfer business, but I don't think they'll come to England
no.
really. But um, but Chelsea, a top five team, have made a rash decision, allegedly rash, to part ways with Enzo Maresca. Did you
Mm,
see this coming?
not at all.
No.
Not at all. I thought this Chelsea side were making really, really good progress. Um, I mean, it is quite funny how since their 1-1 victory, or should I say 1-1 league victory against us, earlier last year, um, they've kind of just gone downhill a little bit. Well, they've hit a patch of difficult form,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's enough to warrant sacking him. I mean, he won them the Club World Cup. He won them the Conference League, and they were making a very good push to make it Champions League again, and would be in a very, very good situation going into next season to try and push for the title.
It was just more the comments that were made in, was it the Everton game or something, regarding
Mm,
like the city hierarchy and stuff like that. I think that really triggered like Togboli and co to
yeah, I think it's
potentially,
more of a breakdown with relations than it
yeah,
is
rather,
based on form,
yeah,
because you look at his win rate, and I think it was something like, wasn't it something like 55 to 60%?
50, yeah, something like that. Better than Amarim, and somehow he's in a job.
Mm, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at most managers, a good win rate for a manager is about 55%.
Mm.
Um,
Add two trophies to
and
that, then you're that. Yeah, that's how you stay employed, really.
yeah, yeah. And I don't think he was sacked on form. I
No,
think it's a disagreement with the board above, whether it's a case that he's decided to leave, or, you know, they've said that, we want to go this way, you want to go that way, let's part ways.
I think I saw rumors
Um,
saying he was resigned, but
mm,
terminology is saying part ways. So I don't know if that's like a mutual termination, and he just gets the payout and doesn't necessarily go down as a sacking.
mm,
But I don't know if he's agreed to this because he's eyeing that City job with Pep potentially being linked with leaving in the summer.
mm.
I know there was talks about that before the season started. Do you what do you reckon? Do you think Pep steps down in the summer? It kind of depends on how the league title goes.
Yeah, it depends on if City go ahead and win it, I don't think he steps down.
No,
But
but
I think if City have a a difficult second half of the season and they end up losing the title, I could potentially see it happening where Pep like steps down or whatever.
if they go nothing, if they go trophyless, then but it's also a bad way to step down because you kind of want to leave with something on a high. So
I
he
know, yeah.
wins a league, and he's like, right, okay, that's it. I'm leaving you with title defense
Mm. It's a tough one. I think Enzo Maresca would be a natural kind of
predecessor.
transition. Yeah, like successor to Pep Guardiola. He obviously likes the club. You can tell that he likes the way the club's run. He likes the way the club is, and he wouldn't mind a move to Manchester. Um,
Well, I mean,
based on
he was the academy, so
yeah,
it would just be a natural step up for him.
yeah. It's like if Arteta wanted to leave Arsenal and go to City, you could see why. But I think for Pep, I don't know if it's time for him to move on. I don't think it might. Sorry. I think for some City fans, they might look at it and say it's time for him to move on. Um, but I don't think he's personally ready just yet as well.
No, I think the only way Pep goes is if he takes a national job of Spain. I think that's probably the most obvious way of him going. I don't think he goes to another club unless maybe Barcelona come back knocking, but he hasn't got a war chest at
Mm,
Barcelona, so I don't think I think the financials would be a step down, but I just don't really see where he goes. He either retires at City or takes a national job.
mm.
But there was a lot of talks with I don't know if it was last season or like when he won the quad or treble. Yeah, Community Shield, whatever.
Yeah, that he was going to take the England job.
England job or Spain job. It was something
Mm.
international, but that fizzled out when he remained and signed a new contract. But where do you think Enzo goes? Do you think he just stays up the job to the end of the season? Because I mean, he was eyeing up the United job as well. If Amarim was put under fire,
Yeah, I mean, it is an option. I think if things still go badly for Amarim, and the board decide that they want to part ways with him, then I think he's definitely a solid option for them. And I think if you're looking at like the bookies and everything, I think they'll probably put him as at least second or third choice. Or favorite to get the job.
who do you think's first for United job?
No idea at this point.
Ollie.
You know, Ollie, could you imagine?
I don't see why not. I think if Ollie, this is just me reminiscing anyway. If Ollie had the backing of Ineos as Ruben does, he would be easily Champions League, easily.
Yeah, and
But
I think Ollie's kind of football. I don't think it's dominant enough to win the league, but I think it's dominant. It's tactical enough to challenge those top four places. I think Amarim has the potential to challenge for the league if he can get everything right. But it's getting to that point where everything's right that it just takes time. Um, Whereas I think Ollie is kind of more of like an instantaneous fix. It's an easier system to implement, but it's not as effective. The ceiling is lower than what Amarim's system could be, in my opinion.
Amarim just has not been very likable in terms of the fans, like the way he portrays himself in interviews, throwing kids under the bus, like Harry Amas and Collier, like just throwing them under the bus for no reason, just because Cobby doesn't get played. It's just been
Mm,
a whole mess. Like this three at the back formation just hasn't worked. I've seen some people say to me like, "Yeah, but United look better this season." Well, obviously, because they're not 17th. Like, yeah, it's going to look better, but you look at the football played. Like, I've just not been interested in watching this formation. And they play a fullback, and surprise, surprise, they look so much better. But they are missing some key players. but this four back is just built for this club. Like I don't think the three back works, and I don't think you'll ever get the personnel for it. I really don't think
Mm,
there are personnel out there obtainable enough for Amarim. So either just stops his plan or goes because I just don't think it's there for him. That's my personal
yeah.
opinion, anyway. Because like,
And I think your opinion as well, coming, being a Man United fan yourself, is a lot more detailed and sort of thought back than what my opinion would be.
yeah,
Because I look at the club from the outside in, and I look at what he's done at Sporting. I look at all that sort of stuff, and I don't really look at it from like a tactical perspective, really, because it's not my club. Like I'll see about their results. I'll see if they win a game or anything. But you watch them realistically day in day out. You know exactly how that team works, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. Like I would be able to tell you about Arsenal.
yeah.
And you know, I mean, I would look at it and say, still give him time.
It's
But
hard though. It's really, really hard because he's had a full season. He's had a whole preseason, and not a lot has really changed too much. Like, yeah, the players are slightly getting used to the system and formation you want to play compared to last season, but it's still not good. And like, you have to be kind of like an idiot to like not realize this. Yeah, and I'm like calling out some people that I know. Like, you have to be an idiot to like accept it's bad. Like, I don't think, and I really, really hope it proves me wrong, so I look like the idiot. But I don't think it will work.
mm,
You've got this 7 foot striker in the box, and you've got wing backs who push really high. And what do you think the number one thing to do is if you're playing left or right wing back and you've got a 7 foot monster in the box? What do you reckon you would do?
you whip the ball in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, does that happen? No.
No.
And you just sit there and you think, what what I don't care, like you've been drilled to play this kind of way. You play simple. I see a big guy in the box. I'm gonna see if I can get it on his head. It doesn't happen, and it really does my head in. It really, really does
Yeah,
my head
and
in.
and especially you look at Sesko's like ability in the air across his career. When he was at RB,
Leipzig.
and you look at that, and you've got to say like they've got to start putting the ball on his head.
There was a few crosses where Shaw played left back against Wolves, and he got one or two crosses to Sesko's head, and he got them, and they were going in the goal. Simple as that. Keeper saved it, whatever. But I'm just there like thinking, why are you not doing this more often?
Hmm.
But it's so annoying because Sesko comes off and then crosses come into the box. And I'm just sat there like, what, what? I just have no, I don't know what to say and I don't know what to think. And I'm actually very surprised that 30 points will get you Champions League football.
30 points for each Champions League football.
I mean, United, as of recording, are on 30 points and sixth.
Hmm.
You get 3 more points in your top four. Like, how does that happen? Like, what was last season looking like?
What
30,
this time of the year?
yeah. I mean, you got to finish on 66 points um, to get Champions League football. Really?
Yeah,
I think that's quite low. Or is it just me? I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating football.
you're just hating on football.
Miserable. But yeah,
Premier League
we're
table as of hang on. So top four last season
at Christmas.
at Christmas. So January 1st. So this is after 18/19 games played, which is where the point we're at the moment. Top four was 35 points.
What was first?
Liverpool 45.
Okay, so we're kind of on track for the same. I don't know, it just sounds really low in my head. I don't know if it's because
Yeah,
like
so
results just haven't gone so.
we're on the same amount of points that Liverpool were on this time last year. Uh, City are 2 points ahead of where we were,
84
and
points.
Aston Villa are 2 points ahead of where we were.
Crazy. But you just go back to
But then, but then you look at where Liverpool are; they're on 33 in fourth place, and Chelsea last season won 35 points in fourth.
yeah, it's just so open. But you go back to like the Centurion seasons as well. I mean, fighting on 99 points and 100 points. There's already like
Yeah, but I think we've all kind of established that the 99 to 100 point seasons were a bit of an anomaly at the time. I mean, you had other top six teams who weren't really performing that well. Um, you know, Arsenal were in the mud. Man United were in the mud. Chelsea had fallen off a little bit. The only two teams that were really performing were Man City and Liverpool. You go to like 2018-19 onwards, the only two teams who really had challenging for the title were that Liverpool City, and that's when those 100 point seasons happened, and that was very weird for the Premier League because you go back to like the early 2000 days. You go back to the dominance, of Fergie, and sort of 85, 90 points would win you the title, not 95, 100.
I think it was
So
even as low as like 65 at one point or somewhere.
yeah, and I think the Premier League for a period went to an era, I think between 2018 and 2020, probably like 2023, went through a period of like superior dominance at the very, very top. Whereas I think we're now balancing back out to back where we were to what made Prime Barclays great again, um, where all the top six teams can win on the day. Maybe not Tottenham, but you know, all the other top six teams can win. And you've got big team, well, historic teams like Sunderland, like Newcastle, who are making, maybe not this season and maybe not on a consistent basis, but are challenging on occasion. And you've got stuff like Brighton, you've got Everton, you've got Brentford, all teams that are performing well. Aston Villa, and it makes the competition, it makes the Premier League, in my opinion, a lot better and a lot more interesting to watch.
I think I do agree. I do agree. Like you need other teams to be competitive, but I still think that those teams still lack quality. I wouldn't mind it if people could beat people and stuff like that, but with poor results, I mean, like, mate, yeah, it's an entertaining 4-4 draw, United and Brighton at Bournemouth, but you'd expect United to batter that team, especially in their poor form. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just hater. Maybe last season just killed me off of
I
like
think it's I think
enjoying
it's
football.
I think it's because you're so much a fan of, yeah, well, because you're a fan of a club who have been struggling, and you're doing a lot better this season. I mean, I can't really relate because my team's flying at the moment, and we've really, and fair enough, we've struggled over the last few games, but we've still been getting results. And I don't know. I think going forward, we will still continue to get results, but like, I still think the rest of the league is so open, and I enjoy that. I mean, I'll sit down and watch a game. I might, have an opinion on who I think should win the game, but quite a lot of times I'm wrong because of how open it is and how even a contest it is. I mean, you'll see it one week, Aston Villa might lose to Tottenham. Then and then the next week, Aston Villa beat Man City or draw to Man City. and it's like how they've just they just lost to Spurs, who are like right near the bottom of the table at the moment and are a sort of mid-table club, and they'll go up against a title rival and potentially beat them,
Yeah,
and I like to see that.
I think I'm just hating on the Premier League this season.
I don't think it's as bad as you think.
Right, let's make our predictions then. Where does Enzo Maresca end up?
Where does Enzo end up? Oof. I think he stays out of a job for a little while. I don't think he takes up anything straight away.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. Clip this.
Hmm.
Pep Guardiola leaves after winning the Premier League title this season. Enzo Maresca takes over the City job. Thoughts?
I could see it happening.
Mikel Arteta gets sacked. I'm joking.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that
S-
one.
Say Arteta doesn't win the league. What needs changing at Arsenal Football Club?
Oof, that is tough. I don't think there is anything that needs changing. This is how confident I am that we're going to win the league. I don't think there is anything that really needs changing. I think defensively we're solid, midfield we're dominant, and in attack we're prolific.
I think the attack could do with better quality.
Maybe in certain areas, but I think all around, I think Trossard's had a really, really good season so far. Martinelli's had an incredible season in the Champions League. Um, more than what you'd expect in terms of output. I think Gyökeres, yeah, fair enough. You'd probably expect him to score more goals, but I don't think he's been that bad. He's still got quite a good sort of goal scoring record.
5 and 15.
It's not terrible. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible.
Does Calvert-Lewin have a better? Yeah, Calvert-Lewin has a better goal scoring record.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
but you look at the Ballon d'Or winner, Ousmane Dembele. How many goals has he scored this season?
That's French league. Talk about Premier League.
But I know we're talking about the Premier League, but I'm talking about the best player in the world last year isn't performing that well. It's not just a Victor Gyökeres issue. I think it's a thing across the board, and I think it's kind of puts into perspective as he's not actually having that bad a season. Like, yeah, fair enough. In certain situations, you could probably say he needs to do better, but I think the goals will come. I've been saying it for ages. I know, but
Broken record, mate.
he his performances have been getting better with Arsenal, and I don't think it's a case of it's a it's a weird balance of him doing better and also us doing better to play with him and to facilitate him.
Yeah.
Because like I think it's a case he needs to do better with the chances that he's getting for us to have confidence to put more chances into him. And I
We
think
will
once
see.
mm,
We will see come May where all of our predictions have gone, but I don't think Gyökeres hits double figures.
oof, double figures, you know,
Mm.
nah, that's wild. That is a wild prediction.
I mean, Jesus comes back. Kai Havertz will come back. I don't think Gyökeres gets a sniff.
Really,
Yep. I think the system Arsenal plays suit Kai and Gabby so much more than Gyökeres.
and it's quite a rough one to yeah,
I really think it. And I think Gyökeres probably goes on loan next year. Or,
really,
or maybe even sold.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. You don't perform, you get sold. Simple as.
I think the other thing we need to also put a prediction on who is going to be the next Chelsea manager.
Liam Rosnier, whatever his name is.
Hmm. I think
Rosinier.
he's looking at the bookies. He is favourite to get the job.
It's just because of Strasbourg link. It's just an
Hmm.
easy transfer. It's not. He's not changing clubs. He's getting a promotion.
Yeah.
He's moved from Key Stage 1 to secondary school.
The other things you could look at, the other sort of managers you could look at, obviously, who have also been linked with it. Obviously, Areola. Whether he actually goes, I don't know. And potentially says Fabregas. I
I
think
think
Fabregas will be
I
an
think it's a
interesting
bit
one.
too early. I think it's a bit too early. I feel like he still needs a bigger team to manage first. Yeah, he's doing well at Como, but they're not like Champions League or
No.
big following type. So I feel like if he does move, it'll probably be after his second job.
Yeah, no, it's a good show. I still think eventually he will make that move to the
Yeah,
Premier League, and he's definitely destined. Whether that be at Arsenal or Chelsea, or even Barcelona.
yeah.
I don't think he really goes to any other clubs.
I don't think so.
Not really. I don't. I think he. I think he's kind of like that kind of man who will stick to a club that he played for.
Yeah, the loyalty runs through it, but yeah, we're in this one here. We
Hmm.
We're excited to be back. The new year should plan. We got a lot of plans for more episodes. If you did like this episode, please can you like, comment, and subscribe? You can see all our handles down below on X, TikTok, and our YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please can you make sure you rate this a 5 stars and let us know if you think we are delusional in any of our takes. I'm sure we will tell you you're wrong and then dislike and block you.
Very much
But
so.
yeah, for now, we will be out. Once again, Arsenal stink. Ciao.
Take care.
Brush your hair.